Hello and welcome to the Ninqueso Exploring Japan channel, where I'm on a journey to find out everything I can about Japan, the people, the culture, and today about when not to travel to Japan. So with the prospect of going to Japan, it's all exciting and great, and you're just like, yeah, I want to go there. But apparently, there are some times when you should avoid. I'll imagine it's probably like the height of the summer when it's really hot and humid and disgusting. But let us get the perspective of someone who lives there to let us know when we should visit and when we should not visit. I'm still going for the really, really hot period.
I'm going to save you from making a huge mistake on your...
I can't hear because I've not got the wire plugged in. That's better. Professionalism here on the Ninqueso channels.
I'm going to save you from making a huge mistake on your Japan trip. You do not want to come to Japan during this week at all. So, hey.
Okay, I won't go that week. What week was this, though?
Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Allison.
Oh, they got a Hisuian Growlithe in the back. Oh, and a Jirachi. And a Love Disc. See, I like this channel so I can play Spot the Pokemon in the background.
I've been living in Japan for 5 years now. And today I want to talk about the seasons, the holidays that you want to avoid, that you want to be here for. Because even if you just look at a calendar, there's going to be a lot of things that aren't on it and holidays that really aren't reflected on the calendar. So today, let's go ahead and talk about it. So I want to jump right in. I'm going to go over the 2024.
I'm going to guess that that's because during the holidays, everyone travels and stuff and it gets really busy. It's nice they're going over the 2024 because...
calendar. We are actually going to start in 2023 for the New Year's holiday. So New Year's in Japan is treated basically the same way Christmas is in like America, where I'm from, and that like everything's closed, people stay at home with their families, that kind of thing. So from December 28th, I'd say, is when companies start letting their employees off for New Year's vacation. And most places are going to stay closed through the 3rd and then reopen on the 4th. So it is basically a week that you're going to have to be careful for. You're going to have to look up hours for everything you do. A lot is closed. Seriously.
Don't go then.
Especially in the countryside. But really, the main days you want to be most careful on are going to be the 31st. Things are going to start closing up earlier on this day usually. And then the 1st, a lot of things, they're going to be closed. A lot of museums, things like that. So you really need to be careful with your planning. So I recommend coming during this holiday if you want to like experience the New Year's holiday tradition, the atmosphere.
I guess there are things to do still during that time. You don't just have to go to like things, do you? Just like they don't close the scenery.
Visiting shrines, etc. Or if you want to partake in what is kind of my specialty, lucky bags. So if you don't know, I've made a ton of videos about lucky bags. I've been on Japanese TV talking about lucky bags. I don't know how else to describe it other than like it's Japanese Black Friday. So a lot of malls and such.
I have seen the lucky bag. I have seen people do lucky bag openings before. I've not seen Alison do it here, but I have seen other people. So I'm aware of the lucky bags.
Which will be...
I don't think I want to go just for a lucky bag.
Open on the 1st for these, but some don't open until the 2nd or even the 3rd. You're going to have to look it up. But in general in Tokyo, a lot do open on the 1st to sell these lucky bags. Sorry, retail employees. So yeah, 28th through 3rd. Be careful. I wouldn't really recommend it for your first trip unless you really like the lucky bags, just because the planning it gets...
That would be an extreme reason to go to Japan for your first time. It's like, I need a lucky bag. I just need a lucky bag. We are going.
It's a lot more complicated. So this is really the first big holiday period I want you to be careful of. There is going to be another, even worse holiday period. But first, I want to talk about 3-day weekends. So here in January, we can see we have Coming of Age Day. So these are like 3-day weekends. Always look these up in advance because these 3
I imagine they're like the bank holidays we have here in the UK, where you get the Monday off as well.
Day weekends are when a lot of Japanese people are going to travel. Everything's going to be more crowded, even in the city, you know, shopping, etc.
Yeah,
so
bank holiday weekends.
I would really try to avoid them, but it's not like you need to totally replan your trip if it's on one of these days. It's fine. However, I would like to say a warning now in the beginning. Everything in Japan on weekends, like everywhere, it's going to be a lot more crowded than it will be on weekdays, especially for like things like museums, malls.
The thing is, though, if you're like a tourist there and you're just visiting, you just like it's obvious things are going to be busier at the weekend. So you just plan it out. So you do things that are not going to be as population dense annoying at the weekend. You do your museums and stuff like that in the week.
Famous temples, etc. Even restaurants you should really try to make reservations for on the weekend if you can. It's just how it is. So yeah, basically we have winter in January.
I thought you were meant to make reservations at restaurants most of the time.
And then in February, it's also winter. It's just kind of cold. If you want to see snow, that's great, but it doesn't really snow much in Japan from like Tokyo going down south. So if you want to see it, you need to go north. And then we are in February. We've got 2 3-day weekends, which is going to be pretty awesome for me, not for you, because I work here. But one thing I want to mention about February is if you want to see cherry blossoms, there is actually one type called Kawazu Sakura, which does start blooming in February, towards the end, middle.
I'm quite indifferent to seeing sakura cherry blossoms because just a tree with some pink petals on.
End, at least in Tokyo.
The cynic in me there.
They're very volatile, so you need to look up a calendar like a month in advance basically of your trip to see what is probably going to be blooming during your time if you want to check out cherry blossoms or tulips or sunflowers, anything. There are these calendars out there, especially for cherry blossoms. People are really into them. And in general, my main dates I'm going to say are going to be for Tokyo and south. It's basically kind of all the same, but the farther north you go, especially to Hokkaido, the flower dates, they're going to be totally different. So for example,
yeah, it's much colder the further north you go, isn't it?
Well, now in March, we are in cherry blossom season. Yes, it starts in March. I know in anime, it kind of looks like April, but because of climate change, it is now basically mid-March. In Tokyo, where the most famous variety of cherry blossoms, the Someyoshino, start to bloom. So in these blooming periods, I would like to note there's going to be basically the beginning, the middle, and the end. You want to be here for the middle if you can. This is the full bloom. They're going to look really good. Again, please look up a cherry blossom calendar. I can't tell you the exact dates right now.
I'm pretty like fine with whatever the trees look like. They can look like whatever.
They change every year. But I think this past year, the full bloom period was about March 20th or so for reference in the Tokyo area. And then I think they basically all fall off the trees by April. They're really only bloom for like 2 weeks. So be careful. However, like in Hokkaido and such, they're not going to actually start blooming until much later, until sometime around like mid-April.
There you go.
May, I think. So if you're willing to travel to see them, you can do it, probably. But yeah, basically spring, I think, is probably, it's the most popular time of year to visit Japan, and it's for a good reason. The weather's quite nice. The cherry blossoms really are beautiful, and I do recommend it despite it might be a little more crowded. Just make your reservation.
See, I'm waiting for the November update on that month because it's my birthday that month, and I'd quite like to be there next year for my birthday.
For hotels and a little bit
because I'm old.
Earlier than you otherwise would. And you should be okay. But yeah, basically from mid-March to mid-end of April is what I'd recommend. And as you can see, no 3-day holidays
the recommendation
in April for most of it until we hit second worst time of year. No, the worst time of year to visit Japan. A little week called Golden Week. So
I've heard of Golden Week.
See, this is not really reflected in the calendar accurately like it is, but it's not because you see here from
I have heard it. I can't remember where I've heard of it.
On the 29th until the 6th, Children's Day. This is Golden Week. So even though there is a break in holidays here, most people take it off or companies just give it off. You have the worst week to travel in Japan. It's crazy. It's so expensive. Seriously, hotels, airfare,
jack
trains,
their prices up.
A lot of money, and they're gonna book.
It's like that here. If the kids are on holiday from schools, all the prices just go bloop, which is just capitalism, eh?
Out really fast, like sometimes months in advance. And everywhere you go is gonna be super crowded. Kyoto, forget it. It's gonna be insane. Just any kind of tourist destination.
Just forget Kyoto.
Be a lot of people. Even Tokyo will be a lot of people. So really,
isn't there a lot of people in Tokyo already?
Whatever you do, I really would not travel to Japan on this week if you can help it, just because you're gonna be competing with basically the whole country of Japan for domestic tourism, in addition to the international tourists that are already coming. Like, I cannot emphasize enough how difficult it is to travel, especially on trains. You have to book the bullet trains like a month in advance at least. It's wild. The rest of May, however, after that, it's pretty good.
Okay.
It's fine. You can come. Hydrangeas
Thank
start around end of May, and those will bloom until about end of June. However, June is the start of rainy season in Japan, so it's just gonna rain a lot more. It's not
there's nothing wrong with rain though. I don't mind a bit of rain.
ideal, but it is better than what is to come, in my opinion. But it depends what you want to do. It depends if you like the rain or not. But yeah, do expect that. And then
I'm
June
okay
is
with
basically
rain.
the transition from spring into summer, which really is going to start like in full force from July. So as rainy season ends, the sun comes out and it is
The Teletubby sun, apparently.
hot. I am from Florida, born and raised. It's hot. It's about the same, but it's worse because especially in Tokyo, it's all concrete. You're probably not going to be in a car with AC. You're going to be walking in the sun. And there's not a lot of shade. There's not a lot of trees in cities here. So honestly, it feels much worse to me. The humidity is very high, especially from August-ish. Summer, I wouldn't recommend visiting, really. The only really redeemable thing about coming here in the summer is to see summer festivals, which I just made a whole video on summer, so just go watch that for more. But yeah, summer festivals are a huge deal here, and the fireworks festivals. There's like a festival like almost every day in Tokyo from like the end of July to mid-August. However, what a lot of people don't realize is that festivals are actually year-round. Like you can find festivals in almost every week somewhere in Japan. Now, the main other times to find festivals outside of summer are going to be around the spring equinox.
I'm not sure I really care about festivals either.
And then the autumn one, or even later in autumn. Really, there's not that many.
I like quiet things.
In winter, there are some, especially up north. But like spring, fall, there are festivals. You can look them up. The Takayama one, for example, very famous, very nice. But moving on, August, it's hot. It's hot.
It's hot, is it, in
I
August?
don't recommend it.
Open is a big holiday that falls on the 13th, 15th, with most getting it off. This and a few buffer days around it are very popular for domestic travel, so please avoid this week as well. Wow. It's a bit intricate, this, isn't it?
September. Honestly, it's still hot until maybe the end of September, mid-September, depends on the year. But what you want to be careful about in September is there's also a holiday called Silver Week, inspired by May's Golden Week.
Just not quite as good.
So what Silver Week is as you can see, it's 2 back-to-back 3-day weekends. It is not nearly as bad as Golden Week. Nowhere near it. To me. If possible, don't come here in this time, which is from about the 14th until the 23rd, but it's not the end of the world. Just be careful on the 3-day weekends.
I'm never going to remember all these dates when I'm not meant to go.
Off these 4 days as much. And then we are in October. Finally,
okay, October,
fall.
sports
Finally,
day.
the weather is tolerable again. I personally really like October. I think the Halloween decorations are kind of fun in Tokyo. I think October is a perfectly fine time of year to visit. And we've got the fall food, which is very good.
That's it, October.
Good to me. However, the fall leaves are not really going to start. It depends again on the year and the place, but in general, you're just going to start seeing them at the very end of October in Tokyo. And then they're kind of actually going to be all the way through like Christmas. Honestly, November, early December, best time of year to see fall leaves in Tokyo. Okay. Again, differs.
Again, it's a lot of plant-based reasons to travel and not travel. I'm okay. I've seen leaves turn autumn. As I'm not saying that other word. I've seen leaves go autumnal quite often here in the UK. So, well.
If you're coming in October and you want to see fall leaves, go up north because, you know, winter starts earlier. There's basically like 2 big types of fall leaves here. There's momiji, which are like red leaves. And in Tokyo, I'd say these really peak in November. But then there's also ginkgo leaves, which are like really pretty yellow trees. And they're like, I love them. I've never seen one in America. And these are going to be at the very end of November in Tokyo. Again, please look up a calendar for the region you're going to be visiting, because it
I'm
varies.
good. I'm
Personally,
good.
November, I think, would be my favorite month to visit Japan outside of March because you have the fall leaves. The weather's quite nice to me. I think the temperature is also pretty good, probably around 15 degrees Celsius to 10, maybe. I don't know. I think November is just nice because November is also when they start the Christmas decorations and the illuminations. Like they put lights all over Tokyo. It's very nice.
So essentially, my birthday month is a good month to go. Good to know. I'm quite lucky there, aren't I?
The years go by, the Christmas spirit gets like more and more intense here. Well, it's like commercial, but it's fun to look at and I like it. And the food is good. November, it's like fall themed and it's great. I like November. And then finally we're back in December. It's gonna start getting kind of really cold towards the end of it especially. But honestly, it's like fine up until New Year's if you want to visit. So in Japan, like Christmas, as you can see, it's not a holiday. Like,
obviously just before it gets that busy period in the New Year's, December's good too. And it gets a bit chilly. That's okay. I'm from the UK. It gets quite cold here too sometimes. Not like drastically cold, but chilly.
Like you don't get work off from it or school or anything. It's just
okay. I don't work or go to school.
It's actually like a date day. Maybe more on that in December. But as you can see, there's like no 3-day weekends. You're gonna have decorations throughout the cities, and I think it's pretty good too. Basically, up until New Year's. So that is my wrap up for the year, the season, some flowers.
Okay.
So in summary, when should you visit? Spring
November.
or fall, of course, but really I would try to time it with the cherry blossoms in late-ish March or with the fall leaves in November. Really the only main 2 times of year I don't.
But I don't care about cherry blossoms and autumn leaves.
Think you should visit Japan at all would be Golden Week in late April, early May, and then New Year's from late December to early January. And summer. I don't like summer. It's not good. Come if you must, but there's better options. But I know, you know, kids are in school, work, etc. There's reasons, so. But yeah, let me know down below in the comments.
Okay. I think that is it for when we should go to Japan and when we should not go to Japan. And I'm just all the more confused now. I think I'll just go and just hope for the best. But anyway, that was a video by Alison in Tokyo. And if you did like their video, I will leave a link down in the description so you can go over there and give their video a like. And you can watch it as well without me like rambling all over it. There's no good screenshots. I'm just going to have to leave her face in the corner, really, because there's nothing else I can do. But there you go. Up there now, look. Normally I try to find the nice screenshot. I almost said normally I'd try to find a pretty screenshot. Not that I'm saying she's not pretty or anything. It's just, you know, it's just a person. We see people all the time. Anyway, I'm rambling. But let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions, when is a good time to go to Japan? When is a bad time to go to Japan? Let me know down in the comments. And if you'd like to see more of my journey as I try to find out everything I can about Japan, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But until next time, just be nice to people. Bye.